Hey everyone, this is Mike for Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. I'm here in Salina, Ohio at the Grand Lake Fan Expo, and I'm here. Now look, over the years I've told, when I've interviewed somebody, I go, oh, this is my friend, and this is my friend. No, let me explain how happy and just overjoyed I am. This is one of my oldest friends.
Yes.
I have known her since high school. I was there when, well, probably not there, but we were there when her kids were born. And so many years I've seen, you do costume work. Well, first, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Angela Ball, also known as Ginger from Gingerschnapps Cosplay.
And like I said, I've known Angie for a long time, and I've seen your costume work because you started off with dance.
Yep, dancing, mostly dancing, yes.
And you did like a lot of the costumes for that.
Yep. And then when I had started to have children, as you said, I have 4 children. My children were always into things like Nickelodeon, so I was making cat dog and Powerpuff outfits when they weren't available in stores because that's what my kids wanted to be. So I learned how to make a cat dog.
Now, where did you? Now, see, I'm gonna play the age card for both of us.
Go ahead.
No. We grew up and started doing stuff like this in a time before the internet, so it wasn't like we didn't have YouTube.
Yes,
like,
that's true.
How do I do a double pearl knit switch or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
How did you get started and where did you learn how to do the sewing and the costume work?
My mother, who is actually here with us today, Grandma Kim, she taught me how to do my basic sewing. She was all about learning how to do any kind of crocheting, knitting, sewing, and she taught me how to do. And all I had to do was ask her, and she would either figure it out or she'd come find somebody else that could figure it out. Also, I went to the library. I used a lot of books. I went to the library. I read up as much as I could when I was at the school library or the public library that was just down the street from my house. So that's where I learned most of my skill sets.
And I would still, even in this digital age, I would still recommend going to a library and a book.
Absolutely.
Because you know what it's like. You're looking at the computer screen like, okay, but when you have a book in front of you,
it's right there.
It's right there.
Absolutely.
Now, you started off doing dance, and over the years, I've gotten into cosplay, and I've slowly seen, you work up to it. What made you decide to take that leap from, because I can almost remember, because it went from, oh, there's Mike dressed in his silly little costume.
Yeah.
Which I know you said with love, because you did your costumes too. When was it you decided to
go big?
To go big.
Go big or go home. Basically what happened was I was working with the kids, and I always did one outfit a year for Ren's Fest, or I did one crazy outfit for Halloween.
I know. I still have the Three Musketeer tunic that you made.
Yeah, I still have a lot of those too.
Grant, it's 20 years old.
I have a lot of chain mail. Remember the chain mail?
God, yes.
Oh, the girl. I've gotten so much better.
I had the vest with the chain mail. And and it was outstanding. It was so great.
Then.
The end.
But
still
now,
I mean,
now we're like, oh
it's
my
20,
gosh, I could do so much better.
Literally, you might have to. I might get a hold of you. It still holds up. It's just 20 years old, and even. God, because when we went to the Renaissance Festival, the nieces and nephews, I saw that picture, were tiny.
30 people dressed up as Lord of the Rings characters, from Frodo to, remember Kelsey wanted to be the dwarf?
Yes.
She had the beard. That was awesome. And Kennedy, who's running around as Rey, she wanted to be Gollum, so she said she wanted to be naked. So I made her a full bodysuit. I was like, I can't make you, you're only like 5 years old, I can't let you run around naked. So I made her a full bodysuit with a loincloth, and then I did the face. That was my first try at latex. That was so fun. Yeah.
And see, it's great because listening to you talk, you didn't just decide to go big out of the gate.
No.
This is something,
This is building.
This is something we talk to a lot of people about, that take your time, learn the process, even I buy most of my suits because I can't sew for it. But over the years, I've learned to add my own embellishments to it.
Make it your own.
Make it your own, and it's a slow development. You learn how to paint. You use the YouTube videos or the library book.
Foam.
Speaking of which, the foam work.
Yeah, I know,
I'm so
right?
proud
Isn't
of you
this
for
great?
that.
And this stuff is the cheap stuff that I got at Joann's. Like I got at the fabric store, the little craft foam that the kids got. But then I feel kind of like, oh, I should. But I really like the way it turned out. But then I went a little bit more high end. Yaya Han, one of the cosplayers, has got more and more. She's coming out with her own EVA foam. So I got some of her stuff. I'm kind of working with it. Plus with the Warbler. But the Warbler, we're going to kind of make it more towards Star Wars because it's a little more real. This kind of stuff I wanted it to look a little bit more campy, a little bit more like a comic book from the olden days, not so straight-edged and hard and detailed. This one I kind of wanted to go
Which, by the
more
way,
classic.
this is my first time getting to see, because
I know, right?
I'll hit you for the promo later, because I follow her on Instagram, and I've gotten to see the work in progress. I love seeing the final product.
Yeah.
For you, what was it about Batwoman?
Okay.
I mean, aside from
absolutely. Like when I started to do Batgirl, but then as I was flipping through and I was doing research and I started to look at the comic books and stuff like that, Batwoman kept drawing me to her. It was the red, it was the hardness of her, it was her character, it was Kate Kane, it was the I don't need Batman because I can do it myself. And she was just a strong-willed character. And Batgirl, while she's entertaining and exciting and in her own right, Batwoman just kind of called more to me. Like I talked about in my panel, you always want to pick a character that calls to you. So Batwoman called to me, and that's why I ended up with her. It doesn't mean I won't do Batgirl in a future series. I might do her for Kennedy or one of my other cosplay kids. But for me personally, Batwoman Kate just said, I'm for you.
I love that, because I know so many people that when they're thinking about getting into cosplay, they're like, well, I don't know who I should cosplay as. I don't know what it is. It's like do you have any suggestions? And I always tell them, and you just said it perfectly. Go with who you want to
exactly.
be.
Absolutely. And I always tell people that ask me questions, and I talked about it in my panel, it doesn't matter what size, color, sex, gender, whatever you want. If you, like for instance, personally, I would love to be Groot. I want to make myself Groot. That is a fictional character, and I'm 5'2", but I'm going to figure out a way to make myself Groot. So if there's people that want to play, if there's bigger people that want to play smaller people, go for it.
Exactly.
Who cares? It doesn't matter. So cosplay just erases and blurs all those lines.
Because you'll find too, when you get into cosplay, if you cosplay somebody that you really identify with and somebody that you really love, you'll find that it comes out in your suit. That's why I've been cosplaying for a while, and I have many different suits. And somebody's asked me before, "You're always Ant-Man. You're like Ant-Man now," because that's my boy.
Because that's what you feel comfortable in.
I relate to him. And relating to the character that you're doing, like you said, the strong, independent woman, it brings that out in your character.
Absolutely. Like, I love Padme, and I love Rey, but I knew that when I was Rey, I didn't feel comfortable being Rey, so I gave Rey to Kennedy because she looks like Rey. And that didn't mean that was a factor, but it wasn't the end all of it.
Right.
I just didn't feel comfortable being Rey, but I felt really comfortable being Padme, so I made a Padme for myself. And that's what I like doing. I have another cosplay costume that I haven't worn in public, and it's the White Queen, and she's got an actual X costume. Personally, I love that costume, but I don't feel comfortable wearing it, so I don't wear it. That's how it works. It's what I feel comfortable in, it's what I want to present myself in, and that's how, and I always get really excited to see other people wearing cosplay, and always want to talk to them and ask them about it. And it's an open community, and that's what I really love about cosplay, is the openness of it all.
I think you pretty much summed up my next three questions that I had for you. The last one, and like I said, I got the chance. I'm legitimately so proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too.
Because high school.
Yeah.
And when you love something and you want to see your friends get involved, but life gets in the way, and then you see, oh my God, she's doing it, and she's doing a bang-up job. I also recognize a couple of the photos on your board.
Yes, actually, you should. That one you should recognize, and that one you should recognize. Now, I had to crop them. I'm sorry I cropped
No, not at all.
Logo out, but those are actually two of your photos. Absolutely.
Where can people out there in the interweb community, where can people find your work? Because I know, because I follow her on Instagram and I follow you on Facebook, but I want other people to know.
Okay, so I'm Angela Ball on Facebook, and you'll see the bun. That's my signature bun. But on Instagram, I'm Gingerschnapps Cosplay. On Instagram, and basically you can find me all over, and then I'm also Gingerschnapps Art on Etsy.com, and that's because John's artwork is popping up all over my Etsy page all over the time, so I just went ahead and said Gingerschnapps Art on Etsy. So that's where we are, but we're constantly growing. We'll be adding more and more. We're going to Linktree, and we've now gotten all kinds of new websites and stuff like that we're working on.
May I suggest MySpace?
Oh, no.
I hear it's making a comeback.
Nice face.
So-
and YouTube. I'm also Gingerschnapps on YouTube.
So Angie, no, really, I am so happy for you.
Thank you for
Please,
interviewing
please
us.
check your friend, or check my friend out. Please check my friend out. No, that's great. Please check my friend out. She's got great work, and that was great advice you gave everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.